It's an exciting day in the House of Backpack. Well, it's for me anyway. I've got a new barbecue. Now I have to go and build it. Right, here we go. Into the work area. So here we go, this is my office. You see I've got the instruction manual there on this big old desktop document reader thingy that I've got. So this is great. So you can increase the magnification, you can change the background colour, you can move around the page using this little dial here, you can pinch, you can do all of that stuff on the screen. So there we go. So that's got my instruction manual. Oh, office setup there. There it is. It's in the box. So I should have done an unboxing yesterday, but I'm not very good at this type of stuff. So anyway, there we go. Got GoPro up in the corner. Got the radio on. Might even be able to get some little recordings on the on the glasses later on as well, so you can see some point of view stuff. But here we go. First of all, we need to get the legs on so we can stand this beast up. Of course, the legs have to go on a specific way round, and I got it wrong. So they have to come off and be rotated, and then the shelf can go in. I need some help for this next bit, as the whole thing weighs a ton. So I rope in my eldest to help me carry it out to the drive and get it standing on its own 4 feet. Everything about this thing is chunky, which includes the cooking chamber handles that need 2 bolts and nuts to screw it in place, and then the main temperature gauge, which is secured in with a wing nut. Now the chamber handle is on, we need to fit the main handle to move it around, and then the chimney gets slotted in place. For those unaware of how these things work, you set the fire going in the chamber on the far right, and then the heat and smoke gets drawn through the cooking chamber and up the chimney at the other end. The firebox is next to go on, and this isn't as easy as it looks, as it weighs about the same as a normal barbecue. After some head scratching, I find an axle stand and then fudge it to the right height with some cut off bits of polystyrene. Even with this as a stand, it still isn't quite at the right height, and it's far too chunky for me to hold in place with one hand while fitting bolts with the other. It would have been useful if the instructions had shown that there were 2 bolts that could be put in first, and then the firebox hooked on. Kath to the rescue as ever, she keeps it steady while I fight with nuts and bolts to lock it in place as quickly as possible. That's finally on, and I can slide in the ashtrays, one for the firebox and one for the cooking chamber. The last thing to fit in is the utility shelf. For some reason, I'm short 4 bolts, until of course I realised I've used the wrong ones for the bottom shelf. No hard done, and after some scrabbling around on the floor and a few choice words, we're back in business. Now all you have to do is slide in the cooking grates. There's probably enough room in this chamber to keep the whole street fed with pulled pork, ribs and brisket for the entire week. Isn't just any
After
old
lots of sweat and a few tears, we are finally
an offset
done.
smoker. So there we go. All finished. Usual fun and games. Trying to find bolts, trying to figure out what goes into where, but luckily enough, it's one of those things, which is it's big and it's chunky, which means it's much easier to use, or much easier to put together. And now, I just need to work out how to use the bloody thing.